Hello guys, Gabi here again. We are going to talk about startup order, program ready, and the request pipeline in .NET minimal APIs. We know that most production bugs around authentication, login, missing configuration, or why isn't this middleware running are not business logic bugs. They are startup order, pipeline order bugs. Okay, so if we do not understand what happens from the program to I'm listening for request, we are doing everything wrong. So we are going through the full life cycle in ASP.NET Core with minimal APIs, from the Program.Main, the CreateBuilder, the configuration providers like Azure App Configuration, Azure Key Vault, dependency injection registration, the build, the middleware order, the endpoint mapping, and finally the RunAsync when Kestrel actually starts listening. Okay, so if your exception middleware is registered after authentication, or you map endpoints before adding the right middleware, you didn't make a small mistake. You changed how every request behaves. Okay, so what happens from program until the application is actually listening? What happens when a request hit our service end to end? Okay, the importance here is the order. Okay, so because a lot of things can happen in many phases. Okay, registration versus instantiation, configuration pipeline versus fetching values, building the container versus running the host, middleware order on the way is in versus the order on the way out. We could have, if we do it this bad and wrong, we could have it missing configurations at runtime, services that are not resolved when we are expected, middlewares that never runs, authorization applied in the wrong spots, logs without the correlation IDs, and so on. Okay, so entry as an entry point, we have the Program.Main, and with minimal APIs, everything starts here. The configuration, the dependency injection, the login, the middleware, and the endpoints are all wired up in the program. Okay, we have the web application .CreateBuilder that creates the host scaffolding. It prepares the base configuration and login. It prepares the dependency injection container abstraction with the builder.services. It loads the default configuration sources, the app settings, environment variables, command line, and so on. Okay, here we are assembling the building blocks, not running the application. Then we have the configuration providers, Azure App Configuration plus Key Vault. We extend here the configuration. The key point is when we add providers like Azure App Configuration and Key Vault, we are building the configuration pipeline. We are not calling Azure for every key right now. Okay? We are composing providers into builder configuration. In our code, these are like the app configuration endpoint, the default Azure credential, and the add Azure app configuration plus the Azure Key Vault integration. Okay, the order matters because we build configuration early because of dependency injection, login, telemetry, and authorization policies that depends on that configuration. Okay, then we have the register services, and we have to know that they does not instantiate everything. It registers descriptors as service type, implementation type or factory, lifetime, and so on. Most services are created only when they are resolved during a request, or the host starts and it needs them, okay? Typical registrations of services are the Azure App configuration, the logger singleton, the telemetry channel singleton, middleware, master, validators, infrastructure, and so on. Then we have the builder build. This is where things get real. It constructs the web application. It creates the final service provider. The container is effectively sealed and the host is prepared for runtime. Okay? Build is the point where the container becomes final. After this, we are no longer registering. We are configuring runtime behavior. Okay? Then we have the middleware pipeline, the endpoint mapping, and so on. Okay, we have other stuff with the application that use, that map, that configures APIs. The order of the middlewares, as I said in other videos, matters. A typical order could be correlation ID, exception handling middleware, and so on. Then the authentication, the authorization, and the configuration of the APIs. And finally, we run the async. This is where the host actually starts. The kestrel boots, the ports are opened, the service begins listening, and the apps becomes finally idle, waiting for request. Okay, so I hope this helps you to understand a little bit more about the life cycle of the order in this architecture of ASP.NET Core that we are talking about. If you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, and have a good day. Bye bye.